Hey, what's up, everybody? Video 44 coming at you another video. All right, so there's some updates on the Lakers' interest in players as of right now. The Lakers are interested in Dorian Finney-Smith, interested in Spencer Dinwiddie, interested in Gary Trent Jr., all in different situations. Spencer and Gary are free agents, of course. Dorian is a Brooklyn Net, and the Nets have pivoted away from their "don't give me no picks for everything" to now I want everything to be in the form of picks. They've officially gained their understandings of what they really need to be as flexible as they would probably want to be. So I don't want to give them 2 picks. I really don't. Not for Dorian Finney-Smith and Cam Johnson. I don't think those players are worth. Not really. I think Dorian's a guy who, when he was with Dallas, was a hell of a role player that could stretch the floor and play some defense. But since he's gotten to Brooklyn, he's gotten lost in the fold. And I just don't expect him to be that same guy that he used to be in Dallas anymore. Now, could I be wrong? Sure, I could always be wrong. But if I'm going to give up what it's going to take to actually get him, I better not be wrong. That's the reality of it. I just think he's a role player, probably a good one. But I don't know, man. For me, it's like, how bad do we need the defensive 4 wing guy that can shoot the 3? That particular piece, Jeremy Grant, Dorian Finney-Smith, do we really need that piece that bad? Like, that's where I guess I question things. Do I like that piece in general? Yes. Do I need that piece as to where I'm targeting that piece? I don't know that I actually need that particular piece, man. That's kind of what Rui is. I mean, Rui doesn't necessarily play defense as well as we'd like him to. So maybe that's the issue. We want to stretch the floor, of course. But, like, my argument is, I don't really think that's the most important piece the Lakers need to be going at. I think you need the 7-footer, 370 guy. Whoever the hell that is, that's who you really need. And so and then maybe a pure point guard. You probably need a pure point guard, somebody who can actually run the point guard position, that you don't have to ask them to do more than they're asked to do. Like Austin Reeves, you want him to run the point if you move from D'Lo. I don't think we need that stretch 4 defensive guy. It's like 6'8", 220, as much as we need that 7-footer and that pure point guard. You know what I'm saying? So maybe I'm wrong. Maybe my basketball IQ comes up short here, but I think I got plenty of 4s. Anthony Davis, LeBron James, Vanderbilt, Rui Hachimura, they all play the 4. And while I would have loved to have had DaRon Holmes, you know what I mean? It ain't like he's a pressing need. That piece is not something that I think is overly needed. Now, if we could turn Rui and Vando into what they would ultimately combine to be, that would be great. You know what I'm saying? If I can get the defensive of Vando and the offensive Rui and put it in one player, now we got something going. But that's not what Dorian is. That's not what Grant is potentially expected to be. So I think we're targeting a piece that is helpful in a lot of situations, and that you're not going to shun that piece. It's not like I'm saying we definitely do not want it. But for me to be giving up 2 picks, I need to be bringing in a piece that I absolutely need, not more of what I already have. Now, the argument that you want to have as many bodies that can fill in for Bron as possible is smart. And that's why we had so many forwards like that, because you wanted to give him plenty of insurance for if he needs to miss games, you could still be competitive. So I definitely understand why that piece is something the Lakers want to have plenty of. But again, if I'm going to give up 2 of the 3 picks that I have, I'm not necessarily looking to fill that particular void. That's not a void necessarily. That's a piece that I already got. So I don't know if our direction is the one that I would necessarily be taking. I would actually be looking for a point guard. If I'm going to give up 2 picks, and I've already said this, if I'm going to give up 2 picks, I'm looking to bring in maybe like a Darius Garland. Although Darius is a little smaller, you know, it's kind of like what we were saying about Simons, probably get targeted a little bit. But Garland's such a high-level piece and such a young player that I feel really good about bringing him in off of 2 picks. You know, that kind of thing. Or, you know, if somebody wants, for example, I understand that the Houston Rockets aren't going to be looking to re-sign Alperen Sengun. I take my 2 picks and plethora of salary matches and young players and Jalen Wilson, all that. I give it to Rockets for Alperen Sengun. You know what I'm saying? That's what I want to do, to be honest with you. Since I found out the Rockets are running around telling everybody that they're not going to pay Alperen Sengun and Josh Green, not Josh Green, but whatever Green's name is, the one who's got the kid with Drea, the athlete. I'm trying to target one of them, or both of them. If I'm giving up 2 picks, now granted, they're going to cost more than what I'm saying. And they're going to have plenty of demand on the league, around the league, so it's not like that's like realistic per se. But if I'm aiming, that's where my mind goes. Like, man, give me something that the Houston Rockets got, like Alperen Sengun. When you slap him next to Anthony Davis, now we're a contender again. Now you really, Jeremy Grant ain't going to get you the contention status. You get Alperen Sengun, you're going to be in contention. Believe that. You immediately become one of the top 3 teams in the Western Conference. You add that kid to the fold. So that's what I'm talking about. Since I found out that, it's like, yo, why the hell aren't we after them? Jalen Green is the name of that kid. Jalen Green is a little bit of a wildfire. I understand he has superstar upside, but for the time being, you got to roll with his growing pains, and them growing pains really hurt because he's gonna take all kind of shots. He a 30-point scorer, but he don't have the poise of a Anthony Edwards. Like he gonna be more like Jordan Poole than Anthony Edwards. So it's like, of course you want Jalen Green if you're rebuilding, but for our situation where we need our player to really help us right now, he gonna give me more headaches than I want, while he's trying to turn into who he's gonna turn into. So that's not the piece necessarily. But for the time being, when you talk about Sengun, I think every team should want Sengun if they don't have a center. But a team like the Lakers, who are talking about giving up 2 picks, I ain't targeting older guys that can help me contend. I'm targeting younger dudes that can help me contend. You can keep the terrible contract of Dorian Finney-Smith. Well, his contract may not be that bad, but you can keep him. You can keep Jeremy Grant. No, I don't want none of them dudes. Give me the youngsters. Give me Alpi. Since the Houston Rockets apparently are doing something stupid over there and don't want to pay him, which I think is retarded. If I can use the R word without offending nobody, forgive me for that if it does, but I really do think that's a brain dead thing to do, man. Not paying him when you're rebuilding, or when you have a young team and that's the one you said I don't need, that's crazy to me. That's absolutely insane. So yeah, man, for my 2 picks, that's the type of thing I'm targeting. If it ain't realistic, then so be it. I'll hold on to my picks. That's how I'm looking at it, but I'm not settling for another 4. I'm really not. Because at the end of the day, we're going to run into 5s, actual 5s, and we can still be losing those same damn games we lost before making the trade. That's my attitude as a Laker fan. I just do not think Jeremy Grant is going to help me beat the Sacramento Kings when I keep losing to Sabonis 10, 11 times in a row because Anthony Davis can't guard the man. Jeremy Grant ain't guarding him either. Not. Dorian Finney-Smith ain't guarding him. So it's like, if these guys ain't coming in to address the problem that the Lakers have, the specific problems that we have, then you can boost your overall talent level, but you're still losing the same damn games. Like, we're a better team, yeah, but you still lost to the Nuggets in 6. You maybe didn't lose in 5, but you lost in 6. Like, I'm not signing up for that. I don't believe mortgaging any of my future is worth doing that particular thing. So, yeah, man. If Houston's serious about not paying Alpi, there needs to be about 29 teams calling the Rockets to see what they want for Alperen Sengun right now. Right the hell now. If they're serious about doing that. So, hey, these are the type of things I'm thinking about, man. I want some talent, but I just think that the guys that the Lakers are after are just not, they don't move me like 2 picks worth of moving me. They don't. First round picks, they're not. I think that when it's time for those picks to be drafted, I'm gonna wish I had my picks back. Dorian Finney-Smith, Cam Johnson, they cool. Still gonna lose somewhere in the playoffs. And then the draft comes around and somebody else is drafting with our pick. I'm not happy that day. Like, that's the reality of it. I just don't think them dudes, maybe Cam Johnson, depending on what he's able to do in staying healthy, because his piece is great, stretch the floor, perimeter defense, point of attack defense. If he's healthy, he can help you. But is he ever really healthy? Cam Johnson ain't never really healthy. You can look on a fantasy team right now and it says day-to-day on his name. Seriously, no exaggeration. So it's like, I'm not overly excited about Cam Johnson either. The idea of Cam Johnson, yes. The actual Cam Johnson, nah. He cool, but not as cool as people want him to be. Not as cool as to be giving up no picks. No, not at all. So that's really my thing, man. And I'll tell you something else. This is how I feel. I think D'Angelo Russell is probably the most attractive piece out of all those names. Dorian Finney-Smith, Jeremy Grant, D'Angelo Russell. I'd rather have D'Angelo Russell in most situations. What's the irony in that? Like, if you told me if I would say random team Charlotte and to pick one of those three players, it's probably gonna be D'Lo. He's gonna be the more talented one of the three. Like, it's just the truth, man. So when you talk about throwing in D'Lo, his expiring contract may not be exciting to a lot of teams because they have a bad taste in their mouth about him. But the reality is, he's the more naturally gifted player of the three of those names. Jeremy Grant, Dorian Finney-Smith, and D'Angelo Russell. He the better one. So when we walk around knowing that, and then people are asking for picks on top of that, you do understand that you're giving away more than what you're supposed to be taking back in all of these situations. All of them. Cam Johnson or D'Lo, D'Lo's the more talented player. So as long as we keep that in mind, this is sort of like I said about losing in free agency. We signed the best free agent, LeBron James. He's the best free agent on the market. So did we really lose in free agency, or did we actually win? Because we got the best player in the whole damn market. This is how you look at the thing, and I think everybody's narrative is to make it seem as if the Lakers are just failing in free agency. Failing in free agency is losing LeBron James. If you signed the best player in free agency, you definitely didn't fail. And nor did you do nothing, because we signed LeBron. So it's a lot of teams that wish they would have done that, and they didn't. Some of which you say won. How much did they win if they didn't get the best player? Everybody want to say the best player to take in a draft is how you win a draft, is to get the best player available. Well, we got the best player in free agency. Does that count? Or am I supposed to ignore that because they don't fit every talking head narrative? I'm just, no, man. D'Angelo Russell's the best player in most of these trade rumors. LeBron James is the best player in free agency. That's all there is to it. So if you want to take D'Lo's expiring contract from me, you got to know that I got the better player in the deal in these situations. That's the reality of it. Unless you're going to up the deal to where you giving me a Sengun, or you giving me somebody that has a lot of talent, or a plethora of talent coming back, I'm sending out the best player in the damn deal. Just because my fan base is wrapped up in the narrative that the media's put in their faces doesn't mean that they're not going to realize that once D'Angelo leaves, they're going to know it. We all going to know it. So that's what I'm saying. All of you guys, don't listen to these narratives. It makes them very happy to tell you that you're doing a lot worse than you are. It fits the narrative. Just like I was listening to some guy this morning saying Bronny James ain't nowhere near talented enough to play in the NBA. That's somebody who doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. I'm not saying Bronny James is ready, but to say he's nowhere near, no, that's false. That's false. Or that he did so badly in Summer League yesterday that we need to drop him, that's false. That same person was saying Bronny didn't play any defense. Bronny did play defense. The experts will tell you that's where he shined the most. So it's like, if you don't listen to the narrative creators who are looking at things from a side angle, do expect that the reality of your opinion is going to be lacking a lot of details. Because their narrative lacks a lot of details in a lot of cases. And they really half the time don't necessarily know what they're talking about. So that's what I want to say, man. Our team ain't doing too bad. But at the same time, we can be doing better. But we need not make bad decisions in the name of thinking we are doing better. Like giving away the best player in the deal and added picks to it. So that's pretty much what I got to say. My name's BDO44. Thank y'all for watching. I'm out.